Hello and welcome back to the Be Unbound podcast. This is Abraham Chen with a group of Unbounders. We are here in Jackson, Tennessee. This is one of the Tennessee series episodes in season 2 of this podcast. Tama Phillips is here. You've seen her on the channel. And Tama, tell us why we're all here in Jackson.
Yeah, so that's a great question, because why are we all here in Jackson?
Jesus.
No, we all just decided we wanted to get together. We met last year in Tennessee, which is kind of central location for most of the people here, and decided to do it again. And this is the second? I don't even know. It's like 2 a.m., so I don't know what day it is. We've been here and we've had some great conversations and wanted to do some podcasts while we were here all together.
Yeah, our days and nights do kind of blend together just because we are. I was about
the third day.
Yeah. I was about to say functioning for about. I was like, I don't know about functioning. We've been awake for a while, as happens at Unbound events.
It's a good thing, though.
It is a really good thing, and we've been having some really good conversations, and that is what we want to bring here to the podcast. So going around, we have Tama, and then right next to Tama, we have Jordan.
Sorry. 2 a.m. snack.
Yes. Jordan Ulrich, my man. You might know him as Jordan at Dodgeball Ulrich. He's currently stuffing his face with the pizza.
It's not full now.
Introduce yourself, man.
Jordan Ulrich. I am a college dropout. Interesting thing about that, I didn't mention this in the other podcast that we did earlier.
Yeah.
But I stopped taking classes probably the spring of 2018. And I didn't start getting involved with the community until Apex of 2018, which was in August. So I didn't get involved with the community until after I stopped taking classes. So regardless, if you aren't involved with the community yet, you don't really have any excuses. Just get involved. You won't regret it.
Amen, brother.
Yes, sir.
So, Titus Sturter, not a college dropout, but I've definitely considered it a few times.
We've been there.
Yeah, still taking my classes. Similar-ish story to Jordan. I didn't get involved in community until I had already been taking classes through Lumerit, now Pearson, for over a year, almost a year and a half, actually over a year and a half. So I've only been involved in the community now for just over a year, but I've been involved in Pearson for about 2.5 years.
Cool.
I'm Peyton Holiday. I graduated in 2018, and I just am still a part of this community because I love these people. And, when you love the people that you're around and you can't get enough of them, you just keep going.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, I'm Trent Emick, so I've been involved now for 3 to 4 years, and I'm currently on the 2021 Apex cabinets, and I was last year as well, and on the Community Development Committee, so that's largely where my community affiliation comes in.
Hey guys, I really think we should by now have come up with our own catchphrases or something. every good podcaster that I've ever heard in my life always has some sort of something they say. That's
Jordan has his.
It's like So Jordan's who's like, yeah, I'm a dropout. It's like
so it's not Jordan Dodgeball, it's Jordan the dropout.
Jordan dropout.
Dodgeball dropout.
I mean, even Fraser Crane was like, I'm listening. So as you do, so I don't know. We need to work on that. That'll probably be in the next episode. But yeah, we'll touch on that.
But what you think our things should be in the comments.
Exactly.
Give us some ideas.
Yeah,
There you go.
So my name is Donnie. I've been in Unbound I've been involved with Unbound since 2014, and I've been to all of the Apex events and helped to work on the Spark events from last year. I graduated in 2019 with my bachelor's in business administration from Liberty University.
All right. And so Donnie here has been around for a while. And just to set the scene.
Somebody took the tennis ball off my walker.
Yes, exactly.
The dogs enjoy playing.
But yeah, so we here, while prepping for this, we wrote down a bunch of questions. I told everyone, write down a question that you're dying to ask everyone else. And these, just looking through them really quickly. These are interesting questions. I'm sure you guys, especially if you're in community, have asked before. So, Donnie, as the resident oldie, borderline ancient one, you will have the honors of drawing whatever questions we're gonna do. Okay, so I mixed these up.
I'm not sure if my
Take one.
arthritic fingers still work. Okay.
Oh, right. There you go.
He drops one.
Okay. First question: what is a reasonable amount of time in which to reply to a text message?
Ooh.
All right, rapid fire, guys. Let's go. So,
So it largely depends on who the text message is coming from and what the context is. So if it is a work text message, then it's as soon as possible, usually within the half hour. If it is a social text message, then the time boundary extends to like 48 hours. At least for me. So,
Work within 30 minutes?
yeah, I mean,
What if you're working?
It's kind of,
No, but like, because then there's always that pressure to be on all the time when you're not at work and someone texts you and you're like, oh, I have to respond. It's like,
well, it depends on what your job is too. Like, if
Yeah.
you're following,
100%.
like if you're having using paid ads or something like that, and you need to follow up with people who are contacting your
it
company.
does depend.
That's one thing. If it's like somebody asking you about some scheduling question or something like that, it might be different. But but in our situation, we're doing paid ads and stuff, so we have to reply to stuff as ASAP because your time
Exactly.
there's huge diminishing returns.
yeah.
It does depend. Okay.
When I get text for work, usually it means that something is on fire and
Yeah.
fix it.
I think even within the social questions, you're going to have a lot more variety too, because if someone texts me something really long and personal that requires a lot of thought, I'm going to read it. I'm going to think about it for a few hours, possibly a day or two, and then I'm going to respond. But if someone's like, hey, where are you? That's I need to respond to this right now because I'm probably late for something.
so what you need to know is if you text Titus, say, hey, where are you? And then send him no excuse to not reply after that.
I am a very inconsistent texter. I do not like text communication.
I'm guilty of that.
Honestly, I think it comes down to if you're looking at your phone and you see a text message come in and you can answer it, answer it.
Yeah.
And then if you're not looking at your phone and you've put it away for, I don't know, I know people don't put it away for a whole day, but maybe you do, then that's okay.
Okay.
Just as soon as you see the message, you can answer it. If it takes time, take your time. There's no one way to do that.
Well, fine. I'll spice things up then. So, what if it's your significant other texting you? Some of us
I ain't
as
got
soon as
one,
possible.
Our resident expert on such things.
I think that calls for ignoring them.
Some people are clearly single. Can we put it that
Titus, tell us why you're still single.
So, backstory to what Tama just said.
Yes.
No backstory.
Let's go. Come on.
You got it.
You started.
All right. So, backstory to it is last time we were playing a game, you had to write down a question, and then everybody had to write down their answer to that question. And the question I had written down and was asking everybody is, if you had a movie made about your life, what would the name of it be? And Titus said...
My response was, and that's why I'm still single.
It is a movie I would totally watch. So, yes. Okay.
And that's why he's still single. I think, though, too, going back to the significant others,
Yep,
as soon as possible, but it also depends on what it is. If it's something that takes time to process and think about, then you better take the time to process and think about it, and you shouldn't be quick about it either.
That's my general problem with text messages, though, is that anybody who has spoken with me for a little while knows that my filter is very, very, very porous. So when I'm just speaking in person, I'll say most anything that comes to my head. The problem is that when I put my ideas to text, then I see how stupid the stuff I'm saying. So it takes me significantly longer to edit a review and make sure I'm not saying something stupid.
Use voice to text.
Also, very, very much what Jordan and Trent are saying, because the reason I am so opposed to texting as a method of communication is because it's so incredibly easy to misunderstand things.
Oh, yeah.
And it's like if you're having any sort of a serious conversation, it definitely takes more time, even if it's not serious but has the potential to be misunderstood.
Oh,
Well,
If
that's-
it's
yeah.
not just a logistical question, honestly, if it's not a logistical question, guys, don't text.
Oh yeah.
Just call the person. If you have the time, just call. It's more efficient time wise.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I think with that too, like text messaging, it's like Titus said, it's very poor. Yes, it's fast, convenient, but it's not the way you should communicate with other people. It shouldn't be the primary way to communicate if you're trying to build a relationship with that
Yeah.
person.
Fair.
If you're trying to build a relationship with a person, like take a significant other or something like that, for example. Yes, text every once in a while, hey, how you doing? How's your day going? Whatever. But if you have a question for them, you can text them the question, but it could be like, here's my question. We're going to talk about this or video chat
Oh,
about
yeah.
it
Oh, yeah.
tonight.
If
I like
you're,
that.
and I think if you're, I'm just gonna be straightforward. If your main form of communication with your SO is just texting, then I don't know, like, yeah,
Yeah.
right?
Well,
Because your tone of voice, facial
Yeah.
expression,
Emojis.
everything.
Well, it's
How
Yeah,
about- yeah, I mean, the emojis help.
But they help, but they're still not.
It's,
Oh,
it's,
totally.
it's the social media dilemma. Like
Yes.
why you can't communicate in a text box.
Mhm.
Like it's the same thing that happens in social media as it is with text message. You can't actually get everything you need to say into there,
Yeah.
and especially because people have too much time to think about it too. So like if you're like kind of what Trent was saying is that if you're just saying what's coming off your top of your head, then the people who receive it take that as it's just what's on top of his head.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And
Part of my
what-
charm is my stupidity.
But also, like on the relational side of things, when I read a text, I have a perception of it, whether it's accurate or not.
Yeah.
And if I'm using this as a relational tool, I'm not building a relationship with a person. I'm building a relationship with a perception of that person.
That's
and
it.
then you meet the
Yeah.
person
Yeah.
like in real life, and I have often been surprised. Like you're a different person than I interpreted you to be.
Yeah.
Through our conversation.
Well,
and on an Unbound
Well,
community, it's
I
an even
think
riskier thing.
one thing that is helpful is I don't know about for the rest of the world, but for myself, I just text the way I talk. Like, if I'm going to
I
be
do,
excited
yeah.
about something, I'm going to put everything in there to make it look like I'm excited about
Yes.
something.
Yeah.
And it's like, to me, that helps my communication with texting is just text the way I talk. And if I'm going to say this, I'm going to put it in a text message. And I've never had any issues with that. And I've had people say, oh, I really like the way you divide your text into paragraphs and this and that. So, I mean, just text the way you talk. Have fun with it. you
Yeah.
know?
Don, you were saying something.
Yeah, it's okay. Peyton basically had it. It's that like as you're doing that, yeah, it is important to actually make sure you're accurate with that stuff.
Mhm.
One of the things that Chris Voss, who wrote Never Split the Difference, he has a couple of different things where he talks about email communication.
Mhm.
I think this applies across the board. And he's like, whenever you write an email, imagine that read it back to yourself in like an angry tone.
Mm.
Like read it back to yourself in like an accusatory or an angry tone and see how it sounds.
Mhm.
Because that's what if you automatically assume that's how it's gonna be read, then you're gonna do everything to write it as far as you can to over communicate the way you actually want it to sound.
Unless you want it to sound angry.
Unless you want to sound that way. And so that way you're able to like basically better calculate, how well is this actually going to be received.
That's really interesting.
I have a quick question though about this. There's a couple friends that I have that we might text like once a month, and like I'll send them a text, and then it might be 2 or 3 weeks before they reply,
Mhm.
and it'll be 2 or 3 weeks before I reply.
Yeah.
And it's not that you don't care about the person, don't want to reply to the person. It's just it's going to take more time to reply to them.
AKA me.
No.
I'm kidding.
Not all the time. Yeah.
Yes, maybe that's an important point. Not only does it depend on like work, social, not only does it depend on content and message, but also a lot of it will depend on the relationship you have with the person. Like,
100%.
Yeah.
And yeah, just pointing out the fact that, hey, there are some people in some circumstances that, this is like basically writing a letter, right? It's fine. It's going to take some time to have more time to, life happens and to talk about more stuff. And that's totally okay. Or what we were saying with it's important to have that kind of and well not necessarily in person but face to face or like not like delayed communication, but at the same time I think there is a value sometimes when you get to think about what you need to say, and that's a good thing about text because it's like you can think about things and sometimes you need that to be careful and all that.
So with that point, just go back to writing letters and then have like weeks.
Yeah. Snail mail.
With how the postal service is going right now, it'll be weeks.
Yeah.
Homing
Well-
tickets.
I have a connection.
There you go. Well,
It's a project.
this is really good stuff. So I would say, guys, just call. Okay?
Yeah.
Don't text. But okay.
So if I call you, please answer.
Yeah. Pick up your phone.
But
Send me your
if,
contact info
if you
first.
are texting, just answer as quickly as you reasonably can.
That's a good rule of
And
thumb.
have fun.
Yes.
Honestly.
It's
Don't
basically your respect
overthink
for the other
anything.
person.
Totally.
Unless you're talking to your boss.
And
Yes.
reasonable is highly like
It's
interpret
subjective.
that however you want
The
to.
Lord will give you wisdom. I give you that.
And also bear in mind, this is midnight wisdom from crazy people who have been up for hours.
Midnight has come and gone.
Yeah.
So I will put this disclaimer. This is midnight.
Midnight wisdom.
Late night. Yes,
Early
wisdom
morning.
from
Early morning
Unbounders. Don't listen to us.
All
All right, let's do like
Don't
one more
listen to us,
question.
but do
more
listen to
questions
us.
in here.
Yeah. So, all right, Donnie, pick one more.
Ancient one.
I'm so special.
Mhm.
Yes, you are. Oh, good.
My goodness, man.
Oh, please be mine.
Okay. Oh my gosh. Is that what I think it is? That is mine.
We opt to skip this one.
Let's go.
Can't skip it now.
I'm not even sure. Oh, wait a minute. Okay, now I know what this is. Guy liner, yes or no? I showed you
the
that
heck?
picture with Elvis. I'm like, hey, that guy is wearing eyeliner.
So
That's like-
eyeliner
I-
for guys?
Yeah.
That's what
That's
they call
just
it.
gross.
So it's a
Musical
no from Peyton.
theater?
Hey,
Okay, it's fine.
Let's hear from the ladies. What do you think? Okay.
I mean, I don't
We
know,
heard from
honestly.
one.
I've never thought about it.
How about just like expand it? Like not just skyliner, even though that's most common, but like makeup.
So
on
are
guys
you
in general.
wanting to wear it?
That's not what this question is for. This question is because it's 2 a.m. and I'm thinking your brain is right.
I said musical theater, it's okay.
Well, okay.
Does it
And
have to be
That's why
musical
musical theater
No,
has
that's
a
theater.
reputation.
Yeah, there's
Yeah.
certain connotations.
And yeah, I mean,
that
hey,
I do not
if
want to be involved with.
if you're in film and you're an actor, yeah, you wear makeup all the time.
AKA Elvis.
Newsmakers.
Exactly. I mean, musicians. I mean,
Yeah,
heck,
theater and film and all those sort of
And
acting
well,
roles.
there is a reason behind makeup, which is like there's lights and everything looks different on camera, and you need to look a certain way
Yeah.
on camera to make you look good. Okay.
Weekend of Bernie style.
Or if you're in Egypt. I mean,
Yeah.
guy liner
Or-
was very popular.
It's like when in Rome.
Isn't that a
it's
practical
like,
reason? 'Cause,
When
like-
in Egypt. It's like, oh yeah, I'm gonna put on my traditional makeup.
I think it has
hat.
Yeah.
I think it has a cultural
Get arrested.
connotation, honestly.
Oh, yeah. Well,
Like, it
it-
depends on your culture and where you come from. Because, like, there's obviously, to me, and the culture I grew up in, that's just weird. But to someone else, that may be their culture and what they know, like an Egyptian culture.
Or
So,
like a New Yorker.
oh.
Are you wearing it right now?
Okay, let's move on to another question.
All right, let's do another one. Let's go.
Please.
Let's keep this rolling. I like this.
New one. If you were to move to Mississippi, what would you look forward to the most?
Oh, Titus, I think you're on deck.
I feel like this was written by Peyton. This seems like a trap. It's a trap.
Peyton's moving to Virginia, so
That's
it's
true.
kind of like
I'm also moving to Virginia.
So you're looking forward to Peyton not being there?
So,
Sorry, we love you, Peyton.
total honesty, never been to Mississippi. I know almost nothing about it except for Civil War history, and I like to make fun of it because Peyton lives there. That's about all I got.
Wow.
So what I would say, because I know so little about Mississippi, other than it's like hot and humid because it's in the South, I would look forward to the Civil War history because I like history. So it'd be cool to like be around all that.
Yeah, yeah, thoughts?
Southern accents.
Yeah,
that's
the
valid.
Mississippi
That's
accent is
valid.
pretty.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
pretty
mean, well,
distinct.
and one of the things we have also learned through this weekend is that the more aggravated somebody from Mississippi gets, the the southern accent
drawl
intensifies.
comes
Yeah. It's like a barometer of knowing how
Oh
I'll
wow.
take
Okay.
Okay.
Okay, next question.
He's like, oh, one more person answer this.
Donnie, let's go. One more question.
What would be a bad date location?
Ooh.
There's so many.
Yeah. The morgue.
Is there a story behind this?
Not yet. We can
Trent's
find
like,
one.
and that's why I'm still
I'm not sure.
It's already good.
I'm not sure the location is so much the thing as like
Oh yeah.
The person?
peripheral as
Yeah,
much
okay, fair,
like
fair,
peripheral
fair.
stuff too. Because like obviously like you can pick any park. But
Yes.
then you're like, okay, is this a creepy park? Like, or like, do you have other activities planned?
Yeah.
Anything like that? Like,
Okay, so creepy park is
Are
a
there-
bad location.
are
Yes.
there, are there obnoxious geese that will chase you?
If you don't like them, then
I
just
feel
let the geese
assaulted in that
chase them.
statement. Was
We have geese in our neighborhood, and they're the most useless
I know.
animal on the face of the planet.
They're the worst thing.
They're completely useless.
You can't eat them. You
Yeah.
can just have them sit there and take up
Cards full.
space.
Anywhere
one's
that's like not going to be conducive to like think of what you want on a date, right? Like you want to be able to communicate with the other person. You want to be able to maybe have some fun or
So
like,
nightclub.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So like if you're going on and doing something that is not conducive to that. So I mean
So
I have a bad date location. The light bulb right there.
that's not a date location.
So in other words, anywhere where you
You
will
can't
get
fit.
hot and sweaty.
No,
Yes.
anywhere you can't fit.
yeah, well,
So
I'm also making an
no
argument.
hot
This is a
yoga.
legitimate one. Bowling alleys. Going bowling is a really bad date location.
I've seen way too many dates at bowling alleys that are cringy to just know that it's a
Yeah.
bad location.
I don't know if I entirely agree with that.
It depends on the.
It depends on
Remember,
the
if Napoleon
Well,
Bonaparte is
Yeah,
there.
well, it also depends. Is this a first date? Like, what are we talking about? If it's a first date, the bowling alley.
Well, here, I mean, like, if it's the one that's, like, near us, I mean, like, they haven't changed the smoking laws there, so the whole place
Yeah.
smells like an
Oh.
ashtray.
Well,
That
even if
sounds
it's a
great.
nice bowling alley, just the concept of bowling is either you're going or she is, and so there's no opportunity for conversation.
I actually
Well,
completely
so-
what
disagree
about
with
this?
that.
How about who wins? Like,
Yeah.
I mean, do you do 2 out of 3, or do you just do 4 games and then, like, hope everybody ties?
Just let her win.
Like, yeah.
Yeah, just let her win.
Is that the way it works?
No.
Because
No,
here's the
no.
thing.
I'm just
Some
kidding.
would take offense at that. Like,
I would.
from a genuine guy's perspective, like, that's the most complicated, like, minefield there is.
Like, you don't
Don't
wanna be-
let her win.
I would say don't like let her win, but also like don't go over the top competitive.
Uh-huh.
Yes.
Like just
Yeah.
like you're trying,
Just
but you're
be
also
yourself.
there to get to
Okay.
know her and enjoy it. But I'm gonna completely disagree with everything Trent said.
Yeah.
Like it's not that I think bowling alley is the prime date spot, but
ladies, if you
even though I don't really like bowling. Don't think it's a prime date spot, but
And
I've
that's
had
why you're still
plenty of enjoyable evenings, like with friends, just with friends.
Here's a good one.
Like at bowling alleys, because it's something that you're doing together. It's fun. There is still plenty of opportunity for conversation because you're relatively close together and you're not doing an activity that prevents communication. So you can still talk while you bowl.
Oh, yeah.
You're walking
And
back
you
with
can sit there and talk about how bad you are. You know?
Yeah,
with,
like-
with bowling
it's
too,
different
there's
if you
a
have
low
birthday
ceiling
No, I'm thinking even
for skill level because you can always put the bumpers up.
Yeah, but even
Yeah.
even just
But
on one.
do
I
you
think
want to
there's
do that? Like, I
conversation
mean,
there.
like, because what type of signals does that send? Does that
Oh
I mean,
my
seriously, does that
word.
say, oh yeah,
Okay,
I
we're
like
overthinking
the
this
easy way
bowling
out.
alley thing. I mean,
Okay.
go or don't
I
go.
think
I
it does
agree.
say, or does it say I'm more practical than bumpers? Like,
Bowling
alley.
like I can totally navigate life.
Okay,
Yeah,
I
Bowling alley is
think,
gonna go as mediocre.
Listen.
Can we just compromise and go
It
mediocre?
can be good, but it can be bad. It's
yeah,
not
and
the
it
best.
depends on which one it is. Is it the
And
cheap one or the
it
expensive
depends on
one?
the person, a lot of it too.
Yes.
If you're going with the wrong person, it's gonna be awful, and if you're going with the right person, you may enjoy yourself.
Mhm.
And if you don't like bowling, don't
I think
bowling.
that has to
Ooh,
do with basically
yes.
everything.
That's something to note. Bad date location. Anything that one or both of you doesn't like. Like it may be
I
a
hate
objectively good date idea.
If you don't
You
enjoy it,
Yeah,
then
if you don't, it's not good. You don't
Okay, what was yours that you had?
I think I started with that. Like, if you're any location would be like kind of off the beaten path, a little bit creepy. It's like parks with geese, or I think that's basically the extent of it. But it's something that I think I agree with Titus. It would have to be something that is not that you don't totally loathe. So like. Probably not starting with like a cooking class where you're gonna show off your excellent skills at learning things, where you have to like take too much, and like take too like there's too much investment or anything like that.
What about the dump?
Oh
Good or
yeah,
bad?
yeah, that's probably bad.
That's
spot.
probably.
I mean, but you can find
That's
interesting
probably
things.
bad.
Any
Are
place
you-
that
How
looks
far into the
It depends on if you're in
Wow.
a flea market or not. Like, is a
Yeah.
flea market a dump? I mean,
Yes.
it depends on where.
To some
I mean,
people,
it is.
yes, it is. They're dumping the gun.
I would add to that, like any place that looks like the set of a horror film.
Probably don't go there.
Well, it depends. Is this person a horror enthusiast? Because
What about-
Is it Halloween?
What about
That's
an
valid,
abandoned home?
That's
Are you
it
trespassing
depends.
or not?
It depends. So
That's-
are we
Yeah.
like
Personally,
Are you
down.
breaking
Well,
rule
yeah.
4?
Well, it's like, are we like in that like neighborhood in Colorado we were a couple of years ago, where we had the Airbnb, and then there was like people like a guy pushing a shopping cart out front with it was kind of like that was in that was when we were in, was it Boulder? I think it was in Boulder. It was after Capstone. Yeah, and we were like, it was like a decent place, but it was kind of a sketchy location, and so it's like you have like do some research. I think.
Okay. So just to summarize this all up, though, the only one a bad day location that has been universally agreed on is the morgues.
That is true.
Unless-
But what if she wants to be a mortician and you already?
Well, okay.
But you should be having a date there.
Listen,
There's a Brooklyn
work
Nine-Nine
play.
episode all about that. That
Should-
explains it. Those
Should
who
I-
don't know.
Should I comment and say my grandfather was a mortician?
Yeah.
That explains a lot about your guard. Like,
Also, the
guard
kind of girls you're meeting there who are a mortician are probably dead. Drop this.
Wait, isn't that the?
I think we need a new topic.
Next question. Next question.
I'll think of it between like now and tomorrow morning, and then I'll get back to you.
Guys, learn from the ancient one's wisdom, honest
Okay,
experience.
yeah.
Okay, next
No
question.
geese. Strike. Geese bad.
All right, one last question for tonight.
All right. Should cars have names? Is it weird, cute, or cool?
It depends.
Cars should definitely have names.
Yes, it depends though. Is it a little Nissan Pixo? That thing is not deserving of a name. That thing is not even deserving of being called a car.
Are you
Someone has-
missing someone who's listening to this?
Mm.
Maybe. If it gets in a wreck with a squirrel and the squirrel walks away, it's not a vehicle.
Yes, yeah.
So that happened to you?
No.
He would not fit in a vehicle.
That is true.
I honestly don't even know what you're talking about.
No, like my truck is Mac.
Yeah.
So that's my truck. That's
My truck's
truck.
Buck.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah.
My car, I inherited the name from the previous owner, so I just kind of went with it.
It's like and it depends on the car. So like I just call the Mazda, but like okay. So the second name is Scarlet, but the
Okay.
but no, like the truck has always been Mac because like it's my old truck that I work on a lot, so it's got like personality and
Yeah.
a lot of like sweat and tears into it. And so when you're putting like that type of personal investment into it, I feel like it brings like that character to it. Whereas like something that's kind of like modern technology and modern cars are more like throwaway objects now.
Mm.
It's like they only last for so long.
That's a good point.
And
Yeah.
people don't maintain them like they used to. They don't have that same investment in them because
Attachment to it.
yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
So
older vehicles, they literally are mechanical pets. is what
Yeah.
they are.
On the side,
It's like,
running.
it's like all that oil, man. It's like, I'm sorry, my truck leaked on you.
Here's the thing, you guys. My vehicle doesn't have a name. So, if you got any ideas, it's a 2010 Chevy Equinox, color is silver. Got any ideas?
Silver
Leave it in the
friend.
comments.
I'm like,
What's
I'm
your
not-
county
Silverfish.
from?
I'm gonna hop on this bandwagon. So 2019 Buick Encore. It's white. I have no name. I'm not opposed to having a name. I've just literally never named one of my cars because I'm not a creative enough person to come up with one. So
Well, Jordan, I want to know, what is the name of the county that you guys live in?
Woodford.
Sedgwick.
The hatchback of Woodford.
Yeah. Hatchback. So it's like instead of Notre Dame, it's like it's way too long though. Yeah. It's like, yeah, I'm gonna get the hatchback of Woodford.
I'm gonna go get in the hatchback of Woodford.
Wow. Mine's just Mr. Adventure.
There
you go.
Yeah.
Goes on adventures.
It depends. I think it's. I mean, that's one of those things. It's just heavily personalized because it's like, yeah, your investment in the vehicle makes a big difference.
Oh yeah.
So sort of going along with the weird part of this question, should like guys name their cars girl names?
That's a good one.
Yeah.
Because I know like you have
Yeah.
a guy name and a girl name for your cars. Oh, by the way, his
Yeah.
Scarlet Mazda is actually like really vibrant red, so it's an appropriate name.
Yeah. So you're saying that Scarlett's a guy name, or is that a girl?
Let's put it this way: if you're driving a car that you are immediately compelled to name it something female, then you've already got a problem.
That's the thing. Like,
So-
is your significant other maybe going to like sense some competition with the amount of time and energy you spend? And it's named after a girl. I'm just saying.
There's several country songs written on that subject.
I know.
I'm sure I have like 5 of them on my playlist. Yeah, no, it's like what type of like personalities does the vehicle have? It's like it's a red Mazda. Yeah, it's gonna be female. It's an 89 Chevy. You know, it's an 89 Chevy pickup truck. I mean, it's like you got a old 350 V8 in it. I mean, it's gonna be a male.
That's the exact same personality as a donor here.
Is it
Okay.
rough and tumble
I think
or
it's
is
time
it
we ask
stylish?
another question.
This is one of those hills I'll even talk about that for a while.
Yeah. This is a podcast in itself. So, guys, if you want to hear more, we'll have Donnie back. All right. I think we should end with one last question.
This is the last time, by the way.
Yeah, this
Yeah.
is the last question.
Yeah, last question. I totally lied. Working with you guys, but I think this was a good one enough that I wanted to ask: how many hours of sleep do you require to function at an Unbound event versus the amount of sleep at home? And
And
this is
that's-
appropriate to kind of wrap up on.
I think that's a pretty simple equation. It's about 1/3 of what you need at home. So whatever that is, it's just right about.
Well,
a third.
and it's the fact that at Unbound events, usually you get a huge shot of adrenaline.
Yeah.
They don't
The
last
la-
as long as real life.
Well,
So like you
yeah,
can
yeah,
survive
sure.
for 2 days on 3 hours of sleep, but you can't
Yeah.
survive the rest of your
And-
life on 3 hours of sleep.
The length of the event also
there
makes a
are
difference.
That is true.
Yeah.
Because like when I do the week-long events, I tend to get more sleep, and on these weekend events, I get a whole lot less sleep.
That's true.
Well, you guys are making fun about how old I am. I mean, in my younger days, I mean, we can totally do an Apex. Nobody needed to sleep. We would just stay up all night.
Mhm.
We're doing push-up contests at what, like 3 a.m.?
Oh yeah.
That's the best time.
Rest.
Well,
Yeah.
what time is it right now?
It's close.
There wouldn't
Where's
be
the card
context.
Yeah, whoever stole the tennis balls off my walker. I mean,
It's gonna point deck of death.
I think honestly, you can. It depends on how much community you're involved in Unbound at home as well.
That is true.
Because like on Corner Lounge, we could totally stay up till 3 a.m. and then I get up 3 hours and go to work. Like it is definitely a thing within the community outside of events as well.
Oh yeah.
No,
Oh, totally. Yeah.
No, I just
Totally.
blame all of my incoherent thoughts that I may have blurted out tonight on all of you guys for keeping me up until whatever this ridiculous hour is. It's not my fault. I don't stay up to sleep.
You didn't
at
bring
any
your
other point
pillow
in my
with
life.
you.
You
I
did.
put my pillow away. Yes, I
You did
I
sign the liability waiver. You did.
There was no liability waiver.
Yeah,
I'm very clear on
this
that.
is unofficial. So to throw like a number out, after a significant amount of research and growing up like through my high school years of totally neglecting sleep, now strive very, very hard to get 6 to 8 hours of sleep.
Yeah.
Then why are you up?
in regular life. And at Unbound events, weekend events, I tend to function on 3 to 4.
Yeah.
Week long events, it's more like 4 to 6.
Yeah.
So like you said, like a third to half
Yeah.
of what I normally do, I feel like is about appropriate because it's a shorter time and I prioritize the relationships a little more highly because of How little
Totally.
we got.
Extreme FOMO.
No, for real though.
Yeah.
I cannot be the first one to go to bed at night.
Yeah.
I need more.
I've wanted to be that person so many times. I mean, like tonight, but and no, I'm not because I'm gonna be sitting here listening.
No,
guys.
honestly, I think there's a special word for that FOMO and Unbound. Like you,
Extreme
like when
FOMO.
you go to bed and then you hear, "Oh my goodness, they stayed up till 5 a.m. and talked about this topic," and you're like, "My word, I should have stayed up."
Yeah.
And then, okay, I'll just say this too, and I mean, this kind of borderline goes into like the deeper side of this. I think that rest is important, and that's one thing we talk about a lot in Unbound. And so at home, it is important that you get your sleep because that is rest. And yes, online community is very much alive. So Corner Lounge and Anthill and Power Calls and and all those other calls. And so you gauge yourself like 100%. Like, hey, when I was a freshman, I did 8-hour power calls on the regular, no sleep. Now, Donnie and I are just like,
So
let's summarize. But at the same time, so rest I think is the key. So at home, you should rest. Okay? And that a lot of times means sleep. And here, at events, when you're with people, a lot of times I think rest means talking and hanging out with people.
But being in a new environment, you rest from what you do at home.
Yes.
Yeah.
True.
That's what you.
That's really what I said.
Yeah.
Which
So
is like
making-
this,
yeah,
for
it's
me,
like-
is rest as well.
It's
Even though
different.
physically,
Yeah.
I'm,
Yeah.
Especially for those of us who are extroverts, because the people energize me more than the sleep would.
Yeah.
To a large extent.
I'm in the exact same boat as Ty. It's pretty much sleep schedule too. Like 6 hours is what I get when I'm at home.
Yeah, 6 or 7.
2 to 3 is where I get it on
Yeah.
events.
Yep.
And like at Apex, I'm always up at 6 o'clock in the morning and I'm taking a walk around that lake because the sunrises there are absolutely
That
beautiful.
is.
And
Shameless
volleyball court. Get to it.
Can I also make
So
a
you
note
should come
here?
to Apex.
Yes, go to Apex One and also make a note that. Well, let me see. I mean, shout out to Donnie. He's a trooper because everyone sitting here around at 3 a.m. is an extrovert.
Mhm.
So I think that kind of plays into the whole rest thing. And again, shout out to all you introverts out there. Like I'm very borderline. I'm like there's an extrovert side of Abe and there's introvert. So I get it. I get the introvert side where it's like, rest means rest, and you go to sleep. That's we're not dunking on that or
sit in
anything.
the dark with a book and
Well, how do you read it in the dark?
It's a Kindle.
That ain't a book.
Yeah,
It is a book.
it is a book.
Okay,
Yeah.
next podcast.
Next podcast. What's it make?
That's a good question.
Exactly. Well, guys, this was really fun. We'll see how much longer we last. But thank you for listening. We mentioned Apex, which is coming up. If you just want to learn more about what Apex and all this stuff that we talked about is, there is the website. Check it out. There is a YouTube channel where we have recaps from previous years. Definitely go watch those videos. And again, find us online. We are on most social medias. If you have stories about anything we talked about or opinions, we would love to hear it. Guys, thank you so much for sharing, and we will catch you later.